There comes a sacred moment in every soul's journey when time bends to belief, when 1 minute, lived in complete faith, becomes more powerful than years of struggle. You've been told that dreams take months, that success takes years, that miracles demand patience. But what if all it ever took was a single minute, 60 seconds of unwavering conviction, a moment so real in imagination that the impossible could no longer resist becoming true? The world will tell you that manifestation is a process. The truth is, it's an awakening, a realization that reality begins within you, not around you. Close your eyes for 1 minute and dare to feel the unseen. Imagine that what you desire is already accomplished. Feel the end, not as hope, but as certainty. When that feeling becomes real, when your heart beats with the rhythm of fulfillment, creation responds. The outer world must obey the inner one. In that single minute of sacred imagination, you are no longer the seeker, you are the creator. You are not trying to make something happen. You are remembering that it already has. All power lies in consciousness, and what you accept as true within you must be reflected without. The impossible is not outside your reach, it's outside your belief. So today I challenge you, give me just 1 minute of your absolute faith, your undivided emotion, your purest assumption that what you desire is already yours. For in that minute, you will see the law of creation unfold before your eyes. That minute will not just change your circumstances. It will awaken the power that has always been within you. The power to manifest miracles, to rewrite the script of your life, and to prove that even the impossible bows before belief. The 1 minute that rewrites reality, there exists within you a sacred moment of creation. A single minute that holds the power to rearrange the entire fabric of your world. 1 minute of focused imagination can achieve what years of effort could never touch. Most people live their days bound by the illusion of time, thinking results demand long waiting, constant action, or endless affirmations. Yet the truth is astonishingly simple. Reality bends not to duration, but to direction. When your mind and emotion move as one, even for 60 seconds, the universe must conform. In that 1 minute of undivided belief, the impossible becomes obedient, and the unseen becomes inevitable. You do not need to struggle for manifestation. You need only to feel it real long enough for your inner conviction to replace outer doubt. The world around you is nothing but a mirror, reflecting your inner assumption. You are not meeting circumstances, you are meeting yourself, projected outward. In 1 minute of pure awareness, you can shift the entire story. Close your eyes and imagine, not vaguely, not as a distant wish, but as a living truth. See yourself already there, already having, already being. If you can hold that feeling steady for even 1 minute, reality begins to rearrange itself around that image. It may seem invisible at first, but subtle movements begin immediately. People shift, paths open, ideas align, and timing begins to favor you. You are not waiting for it to happen. It has already happened in the unseen, and that unseen will soon appear before your physical eyes. This is not about rushing or demanding. It's about entering the stillness of knowing. In 1 minute of deep feeling, you silence all resistance. You cease begging and begin commanding, not through force, but through inner certainty. The secret is to live from the end, not toward it. Imagine yourself already in the scene of your fulfilled desire. Hear the words of congratulations, feel the weight of success, taste the sweetness of victory. Let every sense participate in that minute. When the mind believes and the body feels, creation cannot deny you. The law of consciousness decrees that what you assume to be true, if persisted in, must harden into fact. Do not underestimate the minute that you give to imagination. It is not a small act, it is divine. That minute is not bound by time. It touches eternity. You are not visualizing a future, you are entering an alternate now. Every possible reality already exists. Every version of you that has ever been dreamed lives in the infinite field of consciousness. When you assume a state with intensity and emotion, you are selecting that version of yourself, calling it forth from the unseen to the seen. The one who knows this secret lives above limitation. They no longer chase outcomes, they create them. Think of this minute as your private sanctuary, a sacred chamber where you meet the version of yourself who has already achieved it all. In that minute, there is no lack, no delay, no separation between you and your desire. You are not visualizing to attract, you are remembering what's already yours. Every great shift in life begins with that kind of remembrance. A return to power, a recognition of divine authorship. You are not a character in your story, you are its writer. The pen is your imagination, and the ink is your emotion. What you write within, the world must read without. Even science whispers this truth, that observation shapes reality, that energy responds to attention. But long before theories and formulas, the wise knew what you believe and feel becomes flesh. Your 1 minute of assumption is a command to creation. You are declaring, this is who I am now. The universe listens to identity, not desire. It echoes back who you believe yourself to be. So if for 1 minute you embody abundance, love, health, or success as your now, life must rearrange itself to match that assumption. The mind often protests. Can it really be that simple? Can 1 minute truly change everything? The answer is yes, if it is a minute of truth. Most people live a lifetime in disbelief. 1 minute of faith outweighs it all. You have repeated your limitations for years. Now repeat your power for 60 seconds. The minute you stop doubting and start feeling it real, a new story begins. The invisible machinery of destiny starts to move quietly, perfectly, inevitably. You won't always see it immediately, but you will feel the peace of knowing. And that peace itself is proof that creation has begun. So let this become your practice every day. Take 1 conscious minute and withdraw from the noise of the world. Enter your imagination as though stepping through a doorway. Choose the scene that represents your fulfilled desire. Live it inwardly with all your senses. Don't try to make it happen, be it. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the certainty that it's already done. That minute will do more than any hour of effort. You are working with the creative substance of the universe, and it only requires your belief to obey. When you open your eyes after that minute, carry the feeling with you. Walk as the one who already possesses it. Think from that reality, speak from that identity, act from that knowing. The world will reflect it in ways you could never plan. You will begin to see signs, alignments, and synchronicities, not as coincidences, but as confirmations of the law at work. And when it finally appears in the physical, you will realize it was never created then. It was accepted here, in that one sacred minute of faith. Remember, the impossible is only impossible until you assume it possible. Give yourself 60 seconds of divine imagination, and the walls of limitation will crumble. You don't need time, you need truth. 1 minute of it will rewrite your reality forever. The minute of pure assumption, entering the state of fulfillment. There is a hidden power within you that awakens when you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. It is the divine moment when you stop longing and begin being. In that instant, you are no longer reaching toward your desire. You are standing inside it. The minute of pure assumption is not about pretending or forcing. It is the sacred act of surrendering to truth. The truth that everything you seek already exists in the unseen. You are not creating something new. You are shifting into the version of reality where it already is. 1 minute of deep, unshakable assumption is enough to change the vibration of your life. It is in that minute that the invisible bridge begins to form between the imagined and the experienced, between belief and manifestation. To assume is to accept, and to accept is to receive. The outer world is not the cause, it is the reflection. Every circumstance that surrounds you is simply an echo of a prior assumption. This is why the minute of assumption is so powerful. Because in that brief interval you rewrite the code of reality. You declare silently, this is who I am now. You move beyond wishing and step into knowing. And as surely as the dawn follows night, your world begins to shift to match that knowing. You are no longer living from the state of lack. You are living from the state of fulfillment. Close your eyes and imagine, just for a minute, that your dream is complete. Feel it, not as an idea, but as a living, breathing truth. Hear the sounds that belong to that fulfilled state. The laughter, the gratitude, the peace. See yourself surrounded by the evidence of it. Let your heart respond as if it were happening now. That feeling is not fantasy, it is creation. When you feel the end so completely that you forget the means, you have entered the state of fulfillment. And once you are in that state, nothing can stop the physical manifestation from appearing. The law of assumption is exact what you assume, you experience. The mistake most people make is that they imagine their desires while simultaneously doubting them. They visualize but still identify as the one who lacks. They look for signs instead of becoming one. Yet the true secret is simple to manifest. You must stop looking for proof and become the proof. When you assume it's already done, you stop seeking it. You rest in the calm certainty of its completion. That rest is not passivity, it is divine confidence. It is the creative stillness that moves worlds. 1 minute of that feeling outweighs 1,000 hours of effort. The power lies not in words, but in emotion. You could affirm 1,000 times a day, but if your feeling contradicts your words, the subconscious will obey the feeling. But if, for 1 minute, your inner emotion and your mental image are in perfect agreement, creation begins instantly. The subconscious, that limitless creative power, accepts whatever you assume as true. It does not question, it does not argue, it simply obeys. That is why your minute of assumption must be saturated with sincerity. It is not a performance, it is possession. You must claim it as already yours, not tomorrow, not someday. Now, think of your imagination as a portal and assumption as the key. When you step through it, you enter another dimension of self. a higher identity that already lives your dream. You might say, I am wealthy, I am loved, or I am healed, but it is not the words that move mountains, it is the state behind them. If you can sustain that feeling for even 60 seconds, your vibration shifts. The universe is not responding to your words, it is responding to your being. The one who feels rich, loved, and fulfilled cannot remain in poverty, loneliness, or fear, because the outer must match the inner. Every great change begins within the invisible minute of assumption. This is the birthplace of miracles, the moment where the old story dissolves and a new reality takes its place. You don't need to force anything. You simply stop identifying with the version of yourself that lacks. You withdraw attention from the unwanted and feed the vision of the fulfilled. In doing so, you dissolve resistance. The mind quiets, the heart opens, and energy begins to flow freely again. The impossible becomes probable, and the probable becomes inevitable. The beauty of this process is its simplicity. You don't need rituals, long meditations, or elaborate techniques. Just 1 minute of true assumption. But it must be pure, no half-belief, no anxious wondering. It must be a sacred minute where you forget the world and remember who you really are, the creator of all that you experience. You are not hoping for change, you are the change. You are not chasing what you want, you are aligning with the frequency where it already exists. That is the essence of assumption. During that minute, something remarkable happens. The body responds. Your breath deepens, your heart steadies, your energy shifts. You begin to radiate the feeling of the fulfilled state. That vibration sends a silent command to creation. This is my reality now. And the outer world, obedient as always, begins to reorganize itself to reflect that command. People are drawn, events align, opportunities appear, and what once seemed distant starts moving toward you with effortless precision. The minute of assumption is not about escaping reality, it is about redefining it. It is where faith becomes form. If you can imagine the end and feel its reality now, you will no longer ask when or how. Those questions dissolve because you already are. You begin to walk, speak, and think from that higher identity, and life, as it always does, mirrors your assumption. So take 1 minute, right now, and assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Let that minute be sacred, complete, and absolute. Forget your current circumstances and step into the unseen reality that is more real than the one before your eyes. Feel the joy of having it, the gratitude of living it, the peace of knowing it is done. When that minute ends, carry that vibration with you. That 1 minute, when lived in complete faith, will echo across your entire existence. Remember this truth: you don't manifest by trying harder, you manifest by assuming deeper. 1 minute of pure assumption, where you feel it real, can rewrite the story of your life. In that one sacred minute, you are no longer a seeker, you are the fulfilled. And once you become that, the world has no choice but to reveal it. The moment you believe, turning imagination into reality, there is a divine moment, almost invisible to the eyes yet undeniable to the heart, when your imagination crosses the boundary between unseen thought and visible form. That moment is the birth of manifestation. It is not when the event appears nor when others recognize it, but when you believe within, when imagination feels so real that the outer world has no choice but to reflect it. The moment you believe, creation begins to move. This single inner conviction transforms your invisible desire into a living destiny. You may think it takes time, effort, or endless practice to see results, but the truth is this: the instant your imagination becomes your truth, reality must obey. 1 minute of genuine belief outweighs a lifetime of doubt. Everything that you can see, touch, or hold today was once unseen. Every success, every invention, every miracle began as an idea that someone dared to accept as real. The same power lives within you. When you imagine your desire and feel its reality, you are setting in motion the same creative principle that shaped the stars. The mind is not limited by time, it lives beyond it. So, when you create within, you are not waiting for the outer to catch up. You are stepping into the dimension where it already exists. Belief is the bridge between imagination and reality. It is the key that unlocks the door to the impossible. Belief is not something you beg for, it is the something you claim. It is the silent knowing that what you have imagined is already accomplished. This is not blind faith, it is conscious creation. When you believe, you stop wishing. You no longer check for signs or measure time. And that knowing carries an energy so powerful that it begins to bend the outer world around it. You may not see it immediately, but beneath the surface, everything starts to align. People shift, opportunities appear, and invisible forces rearrange themselves to mirror your belief. To believe is to dwell mentally in the end. It is to live in the assumption that your desire is already yours. The moment you believe, your inner conversations change. You stop asking, when will it happen? And start feeling, it has happened. You move from desire to gratitude, from waiting to living. The energy of gratitude is the evidence of belief, and that vibration attracts every element required for your manifestation. The unseen law of consciousness ensures that what you accept as true will soon harden into fact. Belief is not built through logic, it is born through imagination. You can't think your way into faith, you must feel your way into it. The mind doubts, but the heart knows. That's why imagination is so sacred. It bypasses reason and allows you to experience truth before it becomes visible. When you imagine vividly enough to feel the emotions of fulfillment, belief is born. And once belief is established, creation is unstoppable. The world must adjust itself to match that inner conviction. The great secret is this: the world outside you is neutral until you believe. It waits, silent and formless, for you to give it shape. When you believe in limitation, it appears. When you believe in abundance, it flows. When you believe in love, it finds you. Life is always responding not to your wishes, but to your assumptions. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the author of experience. And every new belief is a new chapter waiting to unfold. Belief is not about ignoring reality, it's about creating a higher one. To believe when you see no evidence is the highest act of power. It is to declare, "What I feel within is truer than what I see without." That is the moment when the invisible becomes more real than the visible. Hold that belief for 1 minute with complete sincerity, and you will feel a shift, a quiet certainty, a peace that whispers, "It is done." That peace is the signature of creation. Once you feel it, you no longer chase, you allow. You no longer beg, you receive. Every great transformation begins with a single moment of belief. It may come quietly, during a meditation, a prayer, or a daydream, but when it comes, everything changes. You may suddenly feel lighter, freer, or deeply certain for no visible reason. That is the birth of a new reality. From that moment onward, the path unfolds effortlessly. The world begins to mirror that new inner state. The right people appear, ideas spark, synchronicities multiply, and life begins to dance with you in perfect rhythm. Do not confuse belief with effort. Effort is born of doubt, belief is born of knowing. Effort tries to make things happen, belief allows them to unfold. When you truly believe, there is no strain, no struggle. There is a quiet confidence that life is on your side. You walk differently, you speak differently. You radiate a vibration that tells the universe, "I already have what I desire." And the universe, ever obedient, echoes back, "Yes, you do." So how do you enter this sacred moment of belief? Begin by choosing the end you desire. Close your eyes and see it vividly, not as a far-off dream, but as a living scene. Imagine the sights, the sounds, the feelings that belong to that fulfilled state. Now dwell in it. Breathe in its atmosphere. Feel the gratitude of its completion. Do not question how, simply rest in the feeling that it already exists. That minute of pure, unbroken belief is enough to summon the unseen forces of creation. When doubt whispers, remember, it is not the outer that must change first, but the inner. Your job is not to fix reality, your job is to believe beyond it. Every time you return to that state, even for 1 minute, you strengthen your creative power. Each time you believe, you bring the unseen closer to form. The outer world may delay, but it can never deny what you have already accepted as true within. The moment you believe, the impossible starts to dissolve. You realize that reality is not solid, it is fluid, shaped by the images and emotions you hold. You understand that miracles are not random events, they are natural outcomes of belief. And you finally see that nothing is truly out of reach. The power that created worlds is the same power that lives in your imagination. So, believe now, not tomorrow, not someday, now. Give yourself 1 minute of complete faith. Feel your dream is done. Live from the end and let gratitude fill your heart. That 1 minute will do what years of effort could not. For in that moment, you are not waiting for your manifestation. You are your manifestation. And the world, being but a mirror of belief, will rise to meet you with proof of what you already know to be true. Living from the end, becoming the version who already has it. There is a sacred art to manifestation that only a few truly master. The art of living from the end. This is not about wishing for your desire, nor about struggling to make it happen. It is about assuming the identity of the one who already possesses it. When you live from the end, you step beyond the boundaries of time and enter the realm where everything you desire already exists. You no longer chase outcomes, because you have already become the version of yourself who has received them. The law of creation operates through states of being, and the moment you occupy the state of fulfillment, reality must conform to it. In that state, your desire is no longer a dream, it is your nature. To live from the end means to feel the reality of your wish so completely that you no longer ask when or how. You breathe it, you think it, you speak it, and you walk as it. You let your inner world overflow with the satisfaction of already having it. You stop identifying as the seeker and begin embodying the receiver. This single inner shift, from wanting to having, changes everything. The outer world can do nothing but reflect the inner conviction. Reality is a mirror, and it cannot show you something you do not first see within yourself. The moment you live as though your desire is fulfilled, you send a silent decree to the universe. This is who I am now. And the universe, with perfect obedience, begins to rearrange itself to match that declaration. The secret lies in emotional alignment. Living from the end is not an intellectual act. It is emotional embodiment. It is not enough to say, I am rich, I am loved, or I am healed. You must feel it until your nervous system accepts it as fact. You must allow the emotion of fulfillment to saturate your being. The subconscious, that limitless creative force, does not respond to words. It responds to feeling. 1 minute of genuine emotional conviction creates more change than years of forced effort. When you live from the end emotionally, you broadcast a vibration that commands all of creation to echo it. Think of it this way. If you were truly living in your fulfilled reality, how would you think, feel, and act right now? What would your mornings feel like? What kind of thoughts would dominate your mind? How would you treat yourself? Living from the end means to bring those feelings and thoughts into this moment. Not later, not when things change, but now. When you align your present state with your desired future, you collapse the distance between the two. You become magnetically aligned with your manifestation, and life begins to bend around your assumption. This principle is simple yet profound. Consciousness is the only reality. The outer world has no choice but to reproduce what you persist in imagining and feeling. So if you want to change your experience, you must change your state. The key is persistence, not in effort, but in assumption. Each day, return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Visit it in your imagination until it becomes familiar, natural, inevitable. The moment it feels real inside, the outer must obey. It is not a question of if it will happen, but when it will appear. Most people make the mistake of living toward their desire rather than from it. They pray for what they want while simultaneously affirming they don't have it. They imagine, but then return to the state of lack. And so the desire remains a distant dream. But the one who lives from the end knows there is no gap to close. The moment you feel it is done, you are in the reality where it is done. You have shifted timelines, entered a new state of consciousness, and aligned yourself with a new pattern of experience. The world outside simply plays catch up to the new inner identity you've assumed. Living from the end is an act of faith, but not the kind of faith that waits, the kind that knows. It is quiet, calm, and absolute. It doesn't demand signs, because it recognizes that the feeling itself is the sign. When you walk with the confidence of one who already has their desire, you no longer react to appearances. You no longer get swayed by the illusion of delay. You understand that all appearances are temporary shadows cast by former beliefs. The new state you occupy must project new conditions. It is the law of consciousness, and it never fails. To live from the end is to let the outer world catch up to your inner conviction. You may wake up one morning and notice nothing has changed, but hold the feeling. Remain loyal to the unseen reality. Persist in your inner knowing, even when the senses contradict it, for it is in those moments of silence and apparent stillness that creation is working most powerfully. The unseen forces are aligning, the pathways are being built, and the manifestation is ripening. When you least expect it, the invisible will take form, and the world will rearrange itself to mirror your assumption. You are not manifesting a thing, you are manifesting a state of consciousness. The person who is living from the end is different from the person who desires. The desiring self is needy, restless, and incomplete. The fulfilled self is peaceful, assured, and whole. The moment you choose to live as that fulfilled self, in thought, in feeling, in action, you become a living magnet for every condition that matches it. Opportunities will seem to come by coincidence, but they are simply reflections of your new state. Living from the end is not pretending or ignoring reality, it is recognizing that reality is not fixed. It is fluid and it obeys your assumption. When you hold the end with faith and emotion, you command the beginning and the middle to align. You no longer beg for your desire, you embody it. And as you do, something miraculous happens. The waiting ends. You realize that you already are what you once sought to become. You feel a quiet joy, an effortless gratitude, as though life has already delivered. And that feeling, that sacred stillness, is the proof that your manifestation is already complete. So live from the end now. Don't postpone your happiness until it appears. Be the version of yourself who already has what you want. Speak from that state, act from that state, and most importantly, feel from that state. Reality is an echo. It cannot resist the vibration of conviction. When you fully live from the end, you no longer hope, you know. And in that knowing, the impossible becomes ordinary, the unseen becomes visible, and your imagination becomes your reality. The minute that changes everything, surrendering to the power within, there comes a moment when striving must end, when the search, the struggle, the endless reaching must fall silent. That moment is surrender, and it is in surrender that the miracle happens. You see, manifestation is not the act of forcing life to obey your will. It is the art of allowing life to reflect your belief. The minute you surrender to your inner power, you cease fighting against the current of life and begin flowing with it. In that minute, you release control, not in defeat, but in divine trust. You stop asking, how will it happen? And start knowing, it already has. That is the minute that changes everything. Surrender is not weakness. It is alignment. It is the sacred acknowledgement that the power creating worlds already lives within you, and it knows the way far better than your conscious mind ever could. You have spent so long trying to manage every detail, plan every step, and force every outcome that you have forgotten the effortless intelligence guiding creation. But when you finally let go and allow the unseen to lead, something extraordinary unfolds. Life begins to move with grace. Paths open where walls once stood. What once seemed delayed suddenly appears at the perfect time. The minute you release resistance, reality rushes forward to meet your new state of ease. The act of surrender is not passive, it is deeply powerful. It is the full acceptance of your creative identity. When you surrender, you are not giving up your desire. You are giving up the belief that you must struggle to receive it. You move from doing to being. You realize that everything you desire already exists in consciousness, and that your only work is to align with it. Alignment happens through relaxation, through trust, through knowing that creation is complete. You are not waiting for it to happen. You are allowing it to unfold. And the moment you allow, the universe reveals what was always yours. So what happens in that sacred minute of surrender? You stop trying to fix, change, or chase. You turn inward and feel the presence of your fulfilled desire. You rest in the feeling that it is already done. Your breath deepens, your body relaxes, your mind quiets. In that stillness, the veil of separation dissolves. You realize that you and your desire are not two, you are one. The outer world, which once seemed stubborn and distant, begins to mirror your inner peace. What was once impossible now becomes effortless. Most people believe that control brings power, but the truth is the opposite. Power flows through surrender. Control is born of fear. Surrender is born of faith. When you cling to outcomes, you communicate lack. When you release and trust, you communicate abundance. The law of consciousness is exact. The feeling of having creates having, and the feeling of needing creates need. The moment you surrender, you declare to the universe, I already have it. And that declaration, though silent, carries the full force of creation. Surrender also means releasing the need for evidence. The outer world is often the last to catch up to the inner change, but most give up before that final moment. They plant the seed but dig it up again to check if it's growing. Surrender means trusting the unseen process. You don't question the seed once it's buried, you know it will bloom when the season is right. In the same way, your manifestation is already growing beneath the surface. The minute you stop doubting, it rises. This minute of surrender is also the minute of transformation. When you let go, you rise above resistance. Your energy shifts from contraction to expansion. You become magnetic, drawing everything you desire effortlessly. People feel it. Situations align, ideas flow. What once required force now happens by flow. You move through life guided by an invisible current that seems to arrange everything for your benefit. That current is your own consciousness expressing through faith. It is in this surrendered state that imagination becomes vivid and alive. You no longer visualize to get something. You imagine because it feels good to be that version of yourself. You live in the scene not to manifest it, but because you enjoy its reality. That enjoyment is the secret ingredient. It signals that you have become one with your desire. When you can imagine your dream and feel joy instead of longing, gratitude instead of lack, then you have entered the state of fulfillment. And from that state, everything must appear. Surrender also heals the mind. The anxious need to make things happen fades away. You begin to trust in perfect timing. You no longer measure progress by appearances, because you know the unseen is always working. This faith is not naive, it is the deepest form of intelligence. It is the wisdom of life itself, the same wisdom that makes the heart beat and the stars burn. You realize you are not separate from that power, you are that power. The universe is not outside of you, it is moving through you. When you rest in that truth, everything changes. So how do you enter that sacred minute of surrender? Close your eyes, breathe deeply, let go of all effort. Stop trying to imagine perfectly or believe perfectly. Simply rest in the awareness that what you desire already exists in the unseen. Feel the relief of knowing it's done. Let gratitude rise naturally, not because something appeared, but because you finally trust that it will. In that moment of gratitude, surrender happens effortlessly. You are no longer asking, when will it come? Instead, you feel, it's already mine. That feeling is creation fulfilled. When you open your eyes after that minute, carry that peace with you. Walk as the one who knows their desire is complete. Speak with calmness, act with confidence, and trust the flow of life. Every step you take will now be guided by invisible harmony. The world around you will begin to reflect your surrendered certainty. You'll notice coincidences that seem miraculous, but they are not coincidences at all. They are the echoes of your inner surrender manifesting outwardly. Remember this eternal truth: manifestation is not about control, it is about alignment. You don't manifest by fighting against reality. You manifest by surrendering into truth. The moment you surrender completely, you rise into your true power. You stop seeking and start allowing. You stop asking and start receiving. You stop hoping and start knowing. So today, give yourself just one sacred minute. 1 minute of complete surrender. 1 minute of quiet faith. 1 minute of remembering who you are. Let go of fear, of control, of doubt, and let the divine flow carry you. That single minute will shift your energy, your belief, and your destiny. For in surrender, you discover the greatest secret of all. The power to manifest the impossible was never outside you. It was within you all along, waiting for you to trust it.